So we got to talk about AOC, and honestly, she's getting like more and more annoying the more that I think she feels like she has a shot at becoming the Democrat Party leader. Well, recently she went after Stephen Miller and any man that isn't, blessed with a bunch of height. And I don't think it went the way that she expected. So I'm going to play this clip really quickly. And then she obviously tried to make another video to try to cover her own behind, which I'll play that for you guys as well. But then I also want to play some of the reaction to it because it's absolutely hilarious. So with that being said, let's dive in.
Is that they are scrapping and grasping at straws because they have nothing else. Laugh at them. Stephen Miller is a clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10", and he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10", and he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10", and he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10", that he's taken that anger out at any other population possible. Like, laugh at them. Laugh at them. Yes, they are dangerous. Yes, we're here to be strong for one another. We need to expose the lies. We need to never let off the gas when it comes to protecting one another, exposing the lies, documenting things. We're seeing this too, right?
He seems like I've never seen him in person, but he seems like someone that's 4'10". Wait, what? 4'10". Yeah, that one didn't go the way that she expected. So she came back with this video clip. Check it out.
I want to express my love for the short king community. I don't believe in body shaming. I am talking about how big or small someone is on the inside. Like, for example, I have no idea how tall Andrew Tate is. No idea at all. But that guy looks to me like 5'3", like 5'3", 5'4". Whereas physically, men of smaller stature can come across, they are spiritually 6 foot. If you're a good dad, if you stand with women, if you're not belittling immigrants, you're like, 6'3" spiritually. I don't know. Am I being problematic?
So, of course, she backtracked because, one, she was receiving backlash from Republicans, but then also from her own party, from the same people who don't like to body shame and label people. You know what I mean? Like, she absolutely stepped in it, and you saw her try to, well, I don't think that I'm body shaming, Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you did, AOC. You were body shaming short people. But as a matter of fact, Stephen Miller isn't 4'10", he's actually 5'10", which, of course, 5'10" isn't, some hulking guy, right? He's not 6'8" or anything crazy. But 5'10" isn't short either. I think, what's the average height for a male? 5'8"? I think it's 5'8", and the average height for women is like 5'5". So he's above average. Anyway, yeah, man. Goodness gracious. Let's move on to some of the fallout from that on CNN with Ana Kasparian. Check it out.
Period. End of story. Considering how poorly they're performing with men, I think Democrats need to stop talking about masculinity. Period. End of story. Considering how poorly they're performing with men, making fun of masculinity, calling men weak, there are substantive things to actually attack members of the Republican Party on. Hitting them on the masculinity point, I think, is a really bad move. And it turns me off personally.
Well, that was my reaction to some of Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's comments on masculinity recently. Now, The representative was making a point about how we should respond to the Trump administration. And her argument is that we're dealing with a bunch of insecure men. Let's go to AOC's comments.
The last thing they want you to do is laugh at them. The last thing they want you to do is make fun of them, because that diminishes them far more than them trying to stick a boot in your face. The fact of the matter is like, these people are, yes, tremendously dangerous, but a lot of them are tremendously dull. People talk about toxic masculinity more than, it's like, let's put that to the side for just 1 second. This is about insecure masculinity. And one of the best ways that you can dismantle a movement of insecure men is by making fun of them.
All right.
Yeah, remember that, AOC. Remember that. You advocated for making fun of people, okay? You know, your crowd is the crowd of, you know, no fat shaming, no body shaming, right? All of this other stuff, but you're advocating for just that. So I don't want to hear AOC crying and complaining and talking about Republicans are mean and nasty when we actually do just that. Because that's literally what she just advocated for. My goodness. These people. They talk out of both sides of their neck, man. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah.
Great imagination there.
Yeah, it's a disaster, okay? So she said last thing they want you to do is for you to laugh at them. Yeah, that's right. So now, after you laugh at them, what do you think their chances of voting for you are? 0. Okay, so world's worst political strategy. And if you say, hey, Cenk, she's talking about extreme right wingers and that are attacking our communities, etc. I get it, guys. But do you think that everyone gets it? Or do men hear that and go, oh, she's making fun of me? Especially when she keeps talking about insecure men, insecure men. Guys, what are you doing? You're driving away.
I mean, I think, so there's two things here. There's two things going on here. One, I think AOC is wrong. I don't think most men are that insecure to where they would feel bad about AOC talking about their height. But then also, if she is right, Cenk has a point, because you're already struggling with men, and now you're laughing at men who are above average. Stephen Miller is above average. He's 5'10". Let me double check. Let me double check the average male's height. Average male height. 5'9". 5'9" is the average male height. What about in America? No, 5'9". Okay, so 5'9". Stephen Miller is an inch taller than that. He's 5'10". So you're making fun of average men. That's a great strategy. Especially when you consider yourselves the side of love and positivity and acceptance. We accept everyone, right? But all of a sudden, men who are shorter aren't accepted. You're already struggling with men. So now you push them even further. Great job. Great job. Man, Trump has done a fantastic job. He's absolutely broken the Democrat Party, man. They don't know what to do at this point. They don't know what to do. I mean, on a weekly basis, like, I'm just like, bro, what? Like, why'd you do that? It's just absolutely crazy stuff, man.
Voters by the millions.
I'm gonna point out something very specific that she said that immediately turned me against this argument that she was making, because she pointed to, look, I can't stand Stephen Miller. I think he's one of the most nefarious figures in the Trump administration. She was making fun of his height. And it's like, okay, but AOC, do you not understand that when you make fun of his height,
yes,
all the men in the country think about their own height and how you're mocking them if they're the same height as Stephen Miller? It's the same thing that women feel when, let's say, they're in the office and a group of their male co-workers are talking about a woman who they find unattractive or attractive, whatever. It makes you start thinking about how they perceive you as a woman, how they perceive your physical appearance as a woman. Like, you've got to be smarter than this. What is this? This is your big plan to fight back against the Trump administration? This is your big imaginative plan?
Yeah, here, let's show that because it's super uncomfortable. And then I want to talk about why this another epic disaster.
Yeah, that partly is their plan, but also they don't really have one. And that's the crazy part. Because from the outside looking in, you would think it would be quite simple, you know? But yet, it's just like, I feel like the Democrat Party is kind of fractured internally. They will never admit it. Obviously, outwardly, when they're out in public, they'll put on a front to make it seem like they aren't fractured and splintered. But I think the Democrat Party internally is splintered, completely splintered. I think the Chuck Schumers of the world, the Hakeem Jeffries, aren't necessarily in favor of the AOCs and the Bernie Sanders of the world, right? And the Zohran Mamdanis, even though I know he's not in Congress. But he is probably going to be the mayor of New York, which is massive. So I think there's a little bit of a split there. And there's this internal fight in which direction they want to go in. And the Hakeem Jeffries and the Chuck Schumers of the world are having this internal tug of war. I think they understand and realize that the direction of the party is not sustainable. But the AOCs of the world and the Bernie Sanders of the world and, you know, the Ilhan Omars of the world, they're pulling the party in that direction. And all of the constituents are going with them. And, you know, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they're all like, wait a minute, guys. We can't do that, you know, but we support you. You know, like they're like, does anybody feel that way too? Like, I feel like they know it. They see it. Don't get me wrong. They're snakes too. I'm not saying that I would ever support these folks, but I think they realize, yeah, we're not going to win by continuing to go further. And so sometimes you'll see Hakeem Jeffries will, you know, do something like when Hakeem Jeffries voted for the Charlie Kirk Day of Remembrance, I believe it was, while like the AOCs and the Ilhan Omars voted against it. You know, that's just like one of the things. But then as you're watching them and you're seeing some of these polls, like with the Chuck Schumers of the world, he thinks he might get replaced, which some polls say he may, right? AOC could replace Chuck Schumer. So yeah, this is just really, really entertaining to watch, man. I will give the Democrat Party credit for just this one thing, and it's this. They haven't completely shown it outwardly, right? That their party is splintering. You've seen like little sneak peeks of it, right? Little tidbits. You know, we've gotten little pieces to the puzzle, and you know, we're over here trying to like put the whole thing together, put the whole picture together, but they haven't like completely like railed into each other in public. I'll give them a little credit for that. Just a little bit. But that's about all they get credit for, because outside of that, can anybody think of anything that the Democrat Party has done well recently? Anytime? Absolutely nothing, in my humble opinion. Literally nothing. I genuinely can't think of a single thing. And that's shameful. That's absolutely shameful. Because I would be honest. Like, if there had been something that the Democrat Party had done well, I would be like, oh, well, I think they did this well. You know? I still never vote for them, but I like this that they did. And I genuinely can't think of a single thing. Can any of you? Let us all know in the comments, man. But this is interesting to watch play out, the splintering of the Democrat Party internally. You know, the AOCs, the Ilhan Omars splintering off from the Chuck Schumers and the Hakeem Jeffries. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. It's going to say a lot about the direction of the Democrat Party. If the Hakeem Jeffries and the Chuck Schumers come out on top, they'll have a chance in about 20 years. If the AOCs of the world come out on top, they won't have a shot for like the next 40. Just saying. And that's just my humble opinion. But y'all get in the comments, let me know yours. All right? Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.